What was my time, Coach?
Minute 15.
A minute 15, are you sure? That's terrible.
That's not that bad. Maybe you won't win any laurels in the Olympic marathon, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, but I should be way under a minute. My best time last year was 54 seconds.
What happened?
I don't know, my neck and shoulders get all tense. My legs are okay.
Well, you're not stretching yourself. I can see that when you run. That's your problem. You've got to stretch yourself if you want to win.
Yeah, that does it. I'm hanging up my spikes.
What do you mean?
I quit, resign, desert, abandon, and defect. I am seceding from the track team.
Yeah? Well, the track team needs you.
No, when I'm running 1:15, they don't.
Oh, come on. The coach just said...
Yeah, I know what the coach said, and that's why I'm bailing out, understand?
What? Hey, JJ, wait a minute.
You may not realize that your appearance is as much a matter of the way you sound as the way you look. I mean, you know, I'm trying to tell you that, you know, it's how you say, what you say that, you know, makes the difference. What determines how you sound to other people? Vocabulary. The words that you choose. The words you choose determine whether other people will understand what you say or write and how they'll feel about your message. If you want to sound your best, and you should, here are some questions you should ask yourself. First, ask yourself, what is it that you really want to say? If you don't have a clear idea that you can express simply, the chances are your audience won't get your message. Ask yourself questions like, if I only had one sentence to get across what I'm trying to say, what would it be? That sort of thing. You'll be surprised how it sharpens your thinking. Next, ask yourself, who is my audience? Let's imagine you're giving a speech on that oldest of topics, my summer vacation. Easy, no problem. But would you give the same speech to your own class as you'd give to a classroom of first graders? Of course not. With the first graders, you'd try to keep things simple. You'd talk about things they would understand, and you'd avoid using words they didn't know. This is the big question. What do I want my audience to think, to feel, to do? Advertisers think that question out very carefully, making up ads that will influence your feelings and shape your actions. And what do they want you to do? Buy the stuff. Advertisers create effective advertising by remembering 3 important knows. Know what you want to say, know your audience, know what you want them to think, feel, and do. And it's the words you know that make all the difference.
Hey, come on, quit bugging me. I told you, I quit. That's it. Now, what more can I say?
Well, for starters, you could tell me why.
You heard what the coach said. He doesn't appreciate it. He doesn't understand what I'm trying to do.
You didn't seem angry.
He didn't seem anything. You remember, all that he said was that my time wasn't good enough to win any laurels.
Yeah, in the Olympic marathon. Well, you know that. But he says it wasn't too bad. You just got to stretch yourself.
I know what the coach said. I got to try harder. Well, I can't try any harder. All I do is think about running. I mean, all the time I get so I'm sweating before I even get my shoes on. And I wake up at night and I worry about it. Can't sleep. A 1:15. No, that's it, I'm out.
Hey, wait a second. You thought the coach was chewing you out for not trying?
That's the way I read it.
JJ, maybe he didn't mean that.
How do you figure that?
What did he say? You're not stretching yourself.
That's right.
Well, maybe he didn't mean it like you're not stretching to reach your potential, doing your best. Maybe all he meant was something simple. Like you're not doing your warm-ups. You're stretching exercises right.
No, wait. He said, you're not stretching yourself. I can see it in the way you run.
Yeah?
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe he could tell that my neck and back were all tense.
Right, remember? He said you've got to stretch yourself if you want to win. He meant you just got to loosen up, that's all.
Well, I think you may just be right. Boy, I sure acted like a fool.
Nah. Oh, hey, look. I just remembered, we're supposed to meet Beth.
Oh, right.
You've heard about marathon, Olympic, and laurel. These three words are linked by history and geography. Marathon is a place. It's here on the seacoast, about 23 miles from the city of Athens in Greece. In 490 BC, the Athenians won a decisive victory over the Persians here. A runner was sent back to Athens with the good news. He ran all the way and just had time to gasp out the news of victory before he dropped dead. It makes you wonder why they didn't send a messenger on horseback. Today, we still celebrate that victory with long foot races named for the battleground, Marathon. Olympia is also in Greece. In ancient times, it was a religious center where every 4 years, ceremonies took place honoring Zeus, king of the Greek gods. As a part of these ceremonies, games were held. The spirit of these Olympic Games was revived in 1896 in the modern Olympic Games. The prize for victory in the modern Olympic Games is a gold medal. The prize in the ancient Games was a laurel wreath, like this one. Of course, the wreath doesn't last more than a few days, but that's the way it is with fame, isn't it?
So that's what happened. What do you think?
I think it's late and I have to go home. I agree with Al. The coach was trying to tell you not to be so tense and tight.
So how do I do that?
Well, first of all, you can stop worrying and thinking so much about running.
Did you ever try to not think about something?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe you could do some exercises or something.
Hold it.
What is it?
I got a good idea.
What?
You could take my aerobics class.
No, I'm not taking any aerobics class.
JJ, it's not what you think.
How do you know what I think?
Hey, wait a minute. I think Beth has a good idea.
Come on, they have a lot of good stretching exercises that will help you out. Professional football players take aerobics and ballet too. Just think about it. Just come talk to my teacher. She'll give you exercises that will help you stretch and relax.
I don't know.
Come on, JJ. What do you have to lose? What was your time again? 1:15 for the 440?
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, so we'll take class tomorrow at 7:30.
7:30.
Okay, Al, I have to go home. Come on, let's go.
Our friends knew what aerobics are. Do you? The word aerobics comes from two Greek words, air, meaning air, and bios, meaning life. Literally, aerobics means living or taking place in the presence of oxygen. But the word has been stretched. Aerobic exercises are those which increase the body's supply and use of oxygen. The parts of aerobic appear in many other words. The air prefix appears on aerialist, someone who flies through the air on a circus trapeze. A radio or TV aerial sticks up in the air, and an aerosol is a spray which works through compressed air or another gas. The bios part of aerobics gives us biology, the science of life, biochemistry, the chemistry of living things, and biography, which is the story of a person's life. The suffix ic at the end of aerobic means of, or characteristic of. Gaelic was a language characteristic of the Gauls. Mythic deals with myths, and antibiotics act against the life of diseased germs.
Lisa?
Oh, hi, Beth.
Hi.
You all are a little bit early, aren't you?
Yes, but I wanted you to meet J.J. Jackson, and this is Al Kirk.
Oh, yeah, you are the runner, right?
Well, if you can call it that. Yesterday I did a 440 and 115.
Well, maybe we'll be able to develop a regimen or a routine of exercises that'll help you out.
Well, I don't know. All that dancing to music. I'm already in pretty good condition. How can that help me with my problem?
What is your problem?
Well, the coach says I've got to stretch, whatever that means.
Oh, does it hurt when you run?
Well, yeah. My neck and my upper back and sometimes my arms. It's hard to get them all working right.
Well, we'll get them working right. I'll show you some exercises that'll loosen you up, and it'll improve your coordination, too.
Well, do I have to do them here?
No, not if you don't want to, but it's lots of fun, really. Come on.
Lots of times when we run into an unfamiliar word in speech or writing, there isn't a person or a dictionary nearby to tell us what it means, and we have to find out by ourselves. There are basically two ways of finding out what an unknown word means. One is by looking at the words around it. Our writing and speech is often repetitious, and many times neighboring words will help us discover the meaning of an unknown word. Let's take the word regimen, for example. The aerobics teacher said, "I think we might develop a regimen, a routine of exercises that will help you out." If you look at this sentence carefully, you see that it pretty well defines or tells us what regimen means. It's a routine or schedule, in this case, of exercises. I told you there are two basic ways of figuring out what an unknown word means. The first is by looking at the words around it, what we call the context of the word. We've just done that with the word regimen. The second way to decipher a new word is to tear it apart and look at the pieces. Sometimes these pieces will remind us of other words we do know. We call this method structural analysis. For example, you remember earlier we talked about biology, the science of life? Look at this sentence. We all breathe oxygen. I learned that in biology. Okay, now let's pretend we don't know what biology means. How can we figure it out? From context, we can conclude that it's something, maybe a subject or maybe a place, that has something to do with breathing and oxygen. That's okay as far as it goes, but not much help really. Well, let's look at the word itself. We break it down into its parts. Let's begin with the suffix ology. Most of the names of the branches of science end in ology. Logically enough, ology means the study of. If we know or can guess that bios means life, we can conclude that biology is the study of life. Most of the time when you're figuring out a word, you'll use both context clues and structural analysis. In this case, we can check our analysis of biology by putting our definition back in the sentence. But we all breathe oxygen. I learned that in the study of life. Does it make sense to you?
Hey, have you guys seen today's paper?
No.
Listen to this. Jerry Jackson, city's premier quarter-miler, dazzled the crowd at the Metro games today with a spectacular 56-second effort in the season opener.
All right.
That is great!
Isn't that something?
Good for Jerry.
56 seconds.
Hey, Beth, how long are you gonna be?
I told you I finished the experiment. I'm just waiting for Mrs. Wilson to come check something.
Oh. You know, this place is falling apart.
Yeah.
It needs a guy like me to preserve it.
Carl, what are you doing if you don't mind my asking?
I'm trying to put this tile back in place.
You better be careful.
Don't worry. Watch out!
I told you to be careful.
Carl, what are you doing?
I'm really sorry, Al. I was just trying to poke this tile back in place. I hope it didn't hit you.
No, but no thanks to you.
You better put it back, Carl.
Put it back?
Hey, wait a second. Look at this.
What's it say?
Totenkampf Asbestos Company, 1961.
So?
Don't you remember? Remember when Polly closed for a while and all the kids had a vacation?
You told us, so?
It was because they found asbestos ceiling tiles in the school. They had to take them all out.
The most famous, and some say the most noble Roman of them all, was Julius Caesar, who, with his adopted son, Augustus Caesar, began the Roman Empire. They also gave their names to the months of July and August, but that's another story. The name Caesar became a synonym for ruler and conqueror. Imperial Germany called their kings Kaiser, and Imperial Russia called theirs the Tsar. Both words, Kaiser and Tsar, are derived, you guessed it, from the word Caesar. But what does all this ancient history have to do with the price of eggs or asbestos? Asbestos was mined in Russia, and the story goes that one of their Tsars had some asbestos fibers woven into a tablecloth. The Tsar had a magic trick of sorts. After a dinner party, he would take the dirty tablecloth off the table and throw it in the fireplace. The guests would be amazed when the tablecloth didn't burn, but even more amazed when, after the fire had died down, the tablecloth was taken out of the ashes, shaken, and found to be clean again.
Hold on.
Don't you see? We could all get out of school.
Yeah.
With this tile.
What's this talk about getting out of school?
Miss Wilson, they closed Polly for a week or so, and all the kids are out of school.
I know.
They found asbestos in the tiles, and they had to take them all out and put in new tiles.
And you think this is an asbestos tile?
I know it. It says so right here on the tile.
What does it say?
Totenkampf Asbestos Company, 1961.
Well, you may be right, but they just might make other kinds of tile, too.
How can we tell?
Well, we could look at some fibers under a microscope.
How can we recognize asbestos? I don't know what it looks like.
Neither do I.
Well, this is asbestos. We'll just take a sample and do a side-by-side comparison.
Okay.
Asbestos is a major environmental pollutant. Its use has increased 1,000-fold over the last 50 years.
Why?
Well, asbestos is an amazing material. It's a mineral that you can weave like a cloth. It's non-flammable, and it's almost indestructible.
Wow, that is amazing. Won't burn, and it can't be destroyed?
And that's exactly the problem. It's the indestructibility of asbestos that allows its fibers to remain in the lungs for long periods of time.
Then what do they do?
Well, usually nothing, but they may be carcinogenic.
I don't like the sound of that word.
Carcinogenic. That means cancer-causing.
Yes. The wind. The slightest movement of the air comes along, wears away, erodes some of the microscopic fibers, and they just float around, and maybe they lodge in somebody's lungs. Okay, that's it. Here, take a look.
Okay.
Notice how straight, sharp, and brittle-looking the asbestos fibers are?
Yeah. Okay, let me take a look at the other one. They look the same. They really do look the same. They look the same. They look the same.
Yes, indeed, they do. So, what are you going to do?
Well, isn't there something you could do?
Not me. You'll have to talk to the principal.
Mr. Sidney?
Well, he's the only one who can make a decision like that, replacing all of the tiles in the ceilings all over the school.
Great, let's go upstairs and tell them all about it.
I wouldn't do that.
Well, how come?
Why?
Because basically, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Just how much do you know about asbestos?
Well, we know that this tile has asbestos in it.
Right, and asbestos is dangerous as a pollutant.
Yeah, and you said that the fibers can flake off of a broken tile like this one.
And then the fibers float around forever and ever.
Until they get stuck in your lungs.
Yeah.
They don't exactly poison you, but...
No, but I think it's time to push the panic button.
All right. Now you've got the beginning of something that you can use to convince Mr. Sidney. But remember, who you're talking to, what you want him to think, and what you want him to do. Any other questions?
Oh, wait a minute. What was the answer to that question? Was it 24.3 grams?
Yes, it was.
I told you.
Here are some words which all end in the same suffix, ic, which can mean relating to. For example, the word microscopic relates to the microscope. We use a microscope to see microscopic objects. Now, the word microscope comes from two Greek words which mean small and look at. A microscope lets us look at small, even microscopic objects. When we try to analyze the word toxic, we don't get very far. It relates to toxin. Now, the word toxin is derived from the Greek word for bow and arrow. Today, toxin means poison. Can you guess the connection? The Greeks like to poison their arrows. Our last word, panic, relates to Pan, and that's not a frying pan, but the Greek god Pan, who was a playful creature and liked to drive people wild just for the fun of it. Thus, panic.
Okay. Now, we've got to handle this just right.
Yeah.
Where do we begin? Hey, how about if I pretend to be Mr. Sidney?
No, Carl, I don't think that'll help.
Oh.
I know. You know how Mrs. Kemper in English class always has us write out an outline?
Oh, come on.
No, that's a good idea.
You mean you want to make an outline to organize what we're going to say before we walk in on Mr. Sidney?
Yeah. What do you think?
Hey, it's my idea, wasn't it? Okay. Where do we begin?
With the problem, the tiles.
Well, how do we know they're the problem?
Oh, come on. Of course they're a problem.
Yeah, but,
That's good. How do we know they're a problem?
Well, let's see. The tiles are asbestos.
We assume the tiles are asbestos and that they're eroding fibers in the air.
Asbestos can cause cancer. I mean, we can prove that pretty well.
All right. The conclusion is that the tiles must be replaced. Or at least Mr. Sidney will want to do something about this.
Just like that.
Sure, why not?
How are we going to say it to him?
We'll just say it right out.
That's not what I mean.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, are we going to use some of the words that we've learned? Or are we going to just talk in our regular way?
I think that we should, hey, give him the benefit of our knowledge.
I think we should keep it simple.
Yeah, but Mr. Sidney is not going to respond to something if we just talk about good tiles and bad tiles.
Well, that's true. But he's going to throw us out of his office if we misuse words that we only half understand.
Yeah. Well, what do you think?
I think we should do both.
How do you mean?
Well, we'll follow the outline. Take him through the arguments step by step. From when the tile fell till the week we have off.
Carl, we can't say that.
I know, I'm only kidding.
Okay.
No, but what I mean is, we should say something like carcinogenic when we mean something causes cancer. Not just to impress Mr. Sidney, but we have to communicate with him. I don't think big words are going to impress Mr. Sidney. But I do think if we know the exact word we want, say something like carcinogenic, we should go in there and say it. What do you think, guys?
Beth, I think that we have done a remarkable job in educating this young man. What do you think?
Well, I think that he's thinking more like me every day.
You might think from all I've told you about our language and the way scholars invent and derive words that the whole process is virtually perfect. Well, it isn't. Two cases in point. Take a look at flammable and inflammable. They're opposite, you think, like formal and informal, active and inactive, decent and indecent, correct? No, incorrect. In fact, both flammable and inflammable mean the same thing, that a substance will burn. So if you see either word on a can of paint thinner or the back of a tank truck on the highway, be careful. They can burn. And speaking of burning, another mistake, it seems, is the word asbestos. Like many other scientific terms, asbestos comes from the Greek. In this case, the Greek word meaning unquenchable. Now, quench means to put out or cool. Something that is unquenchable can't be put out, it keeps burning. But hold on, the chief virtue of asbestos is that it won't burn at all. The best explanation we have is that whoever named asbestos simply didn't know his Greek well enough.
What we've read about asbestos suggests that asbestos can be really carcinogenic.
And we've explained how we were able to discover that all of the tiles in the school contain asbestos, and that in their present state they're a very serious air pollution hazard, and they should be replaced.
Well, sir, what do you think?
Okay, I'll look into it.
I can't really believe it. We're out of school till the ceilings are fixed. Thanks to Mr. Sidney.
And us.
True.
Okay.
You know, I just noticed something.
What?
The tiles in this ceiling.
Ow!
I was only kidding, it's just a joke.
Almost 100 years ago, we had a revolution. That's right. The automobile caused a revolution in American life, and many new words came into the English language as a result. Some were fresh inventions, some were old words adapted to new purposes. Today, words like automobile, carburetor, transmission, gear shift, steering wheel, and rear view mirror are commonplace. We forget that not so long ago, they were strange and confusing new words. Today, a new revolution is changing our lives as profoundly as the horseless carriage did. The computer revolution. Like the car, the computer has brought many new words into our language and changed the way we use many old words. Time was when you went into a hardware store, this was more or less what you expected to find. Tools, hammers and saws, screwdrivers and nails. The word itself suggests correctly that most of the items sold in such stores were made of hard materials like metal and wood. Weapons of war of every sort are often referred to as military hardware, which makes sense. They are the tools of war. And now comes a new use of the word hardware. Computer hardware, the machine itself. Now, this isn't as much a stretch of the word as you might think at first. Originally, computers were largely made out of metal, just like hammers and screwdrivers. And more important, the computer is a tool, too. Well, tools come in various sizes for various jobs, and so does computer hardware. We have mainframe, mini, and now microcomputers. But hardware is only half the computer picture. The other half is software, naturally. Software is the set of instructions that makes the computer work. But there's another kind of ware that's even more important, more basic. It's the oldest, smartest, slowest, fastest computer of all. The computer scientists call it wetware.
Hi, Carl.
Hey, Carl. What are you reading?
Words.
About what?
You know that offer that they have on TV?
Which one?
The record, Platinum Perennials. They send you one free.
Then they keep sending you one for the rest of your life.
Once their computer gets your name in its memory, you've had it. They're all the same.
That's the problem. They won't stop sending me records. I can't afford to pay for any more records. They sent me another record. I don't want any more records.
Buffalo Barney and his yodeling banjo. I see what you mean.
Carl, what did you do to tell them that you didn't want any more records?
You know that 800 number that they advertise in the TV commercials?
Yeah.
Okay, I called it up, I talked to the operator. I told her I didn't want any more records. I told her I wanted out of the Platinum Perennial Club.
Yeah, well, did you give him your name and address and your phone number and the number of your membership card? That's what goes into the computer.
Well, sure, what do you think I am, stupid?
Your Honor, bearing on the question as to my client's intelligence, I would like to submit as evidence his copy of Buffalo Barney and the Yodeling Banjo.
All right, okay, very funny. Okay, you're so smart. How would you get me out of this?
Well, I guess I'd write them a letter.
What kind of a letter?
A polite business letter.
Saying what?
Say whatever it is they need to know to clear up the problem.
Yeah, you know, your address, your club membership number, all that good stuff.
And also tell them that you called before.
Good luck, sport.
Why'd he say that?
Well, you haven't had trouble till you've had trouble with a computer.
The computer has introduced words into English in two ways. First, old words have taken on new meanings. And second, words have been created, many of them from acronyms. Well, let's take a look at a few old words that have acquired new meanings in the computer age. First, there's the word computer itself. Originally, a computer was a person, somebody who calculated or computed the answers to numerical problems. Today, this original meaning of computer is largely forgotten. Now, a program was originally a written notice. Program comes from Greek and means literally to write before. Pro means before and gram means write. Sometimes the stretch between the old meaning of a word and its new computer meaning is easy and natural. Memory is a good example. Information may be stored in a computer for later recall. This information pile helps the computer solve problems in the same way that human memory helps us.
Don't tell me.
The computer did it again. They sent me another record.
What did they send you this time?
Computer variations of Bulgarian tango tune. I don't believe it.
Well, they've got a talented computer over at Platinum Perennials.
Come on, be serious. You guys gotta help me on this. I had to borrow money from my mom to pay for this. She's not gonna spring for anything else.
Didn't you write them a letter?
Yeah, I got a copy of it right here. As I explained in my telephone call of October 9th, I would like to cancel my membership in Platinum Perennials immediately. My club number is 263588584. Thank you. Sincerely, me.
That sounds clear and to the point. Well, now, what are we gonna do?
I've already done it. I'm going right to the top. I'm writing a letter to their computer.
Oh, this I gotta see. Here. Dear Hardware and Software, this is your old pal, 263588584. I want out of the club now, pronto. Get me? Arr. Otherwise, I am prepared to fold, spindle, and mutilate you and your human stooges. Sincerely yours, Carl Scott.
But you're not actually writing to the computer.
I know, but I figured maybe some of the people over there will wake up and erase my name from the computer memory.
Well, it'll make them mad.
Yeah, well, it'll look good. It'll get some results.
Well, you're threatening them. That's not too smart.
Where am I threatening them?
Carl, otherwise I am prepared to fold, spindle, and mutilate you and your human stooges. That sounds like a threat.
Oh, well, they'll know that he's just kidding. I mean, haven't you read that on computer cards before? Do not fold, spindle, or mutilate. It's a joke. It's not a good joke, but it's a joke.
Listen, I tried one way. Short, simple, and sincere. It didn't work. Now I've got something else. Maybe you gotta get a little tough with them so they'll pay attention.
Maybe. Maybe not.
We'll see.
RAM and ROM are both acronyms. That is, words made up of the first letters of a phrase. RAM stands for Random Access Memory, and ROM means read-only memory. I won't try to explain to you what these two phrases mean, except that it's interesting to look at them. Two other computer acronyms are BIT for binary digit and BASIC for beginner's all-purpose symbolic interaction code. As you can see, these phrases are made up of very familiar words. It's their particular use in computerese that makes them special. Oh, come on now, you know what computerese is. I don't have to tell you that. One of the interesting things about English vocabulary, and one that seems particularly illogical to some foreigners, is the way we have of making up new words by changing words from one part of speech to another. Let me give you an example. The word program is a noun, as in the sentence, "What is a computer program?" But the word program can also be a verb, as in, "I'm going to program that into the computer." So much for our second lesson in computerese. We've seen that words can appear in a specialized area of study like computers and form a large vocabulary, what we call computerese. These words can be borrowed from the general vocabulary or derived from acronyms.
Beth, Tripoli is in Europe. It's in France. Or maybe it's Spain.
Al, Tripoli is in Africa, okay?
Oh yeah. That's right. Oh, look who's here.
Hi. Don't tell me they sent you another record.
No, not exactly.
Well, come on. What is it? Don't tell me. We're going to have to beat it out of you.
All right, okay. I got a letter from Platinum Perennials.
Yeah?
A letter of apology.
Great. Here, let me see.
Not so fast.
Read it.
Okay. Is everybody listening?
Just read it.
Dear Sir, we are canceling your membership in Platinum Perennials. Then they give the number as of this date. We apologize for any inconvenience we may have caused you. Sincerely, Fran Wickman, Credit Manager.
Right. How'd you do it?
That's great.
I wrote another letter.
The fold, spindle, and mutilate?
Another letter.
Well, what did you say?
Well, first I had to figure out what it was I did wrong. You know, because the first letter, it was nothing.
Yeah, well, what about the second letter?
Well, the second letter, that was angry. You know, and it didn't say much, and I just sounded like a kid shooting off his mouth.
Well, What did you do?
I changed my vocabulary.
Oh, to what?
Well, first, I had to put myself in their place. I started to think, if I was Platinum Perennials, what would scare me? They're a big company, you know? It would have to be something very serious. So it would have to be something that a lawyer would write. So I wrote it, and I typed it.
Oh, what did you say?
I thought you'd never ask. Dear Sir, on September 15th, I telephoned your office to tell you that I wish to cancel my membership, number 2635-88584, in the Platinum Perennials Club. The operator who took my call agreed to do so. However, you continue to send me records. On September 21st, and again on October 9th, I wrote you, expressing my wish to cancel. Your response was more records. You will note that I am sending this letter to you by registered mail, return receipt requested. Thus, I will have a record of the date on which you received this letter.
Whoa, I like it.
Okay, there's more. This is the clincher. Please be advised that from that date, I will consider all materials sent by you to be unsolicited merchandise, and I will deal with them accordingly. Sincerely, Carl Scott.
Whoa, terrific.
That's fantastic. I know. What's unsolicited merchandise?
Yeah.
Unsolicited merchandise is like the record that you didn't ask for.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say that?
Well, because the phrase in the law is unsolicited merchandise. If you get something in the mail that you don't want, you can keep it and you don't have to pay for it.
Wait a minute. I see. You prove that you didn't want it because you have a copy of the receipt from the registered letter.
You got it.
Wow.
Listen, you guys want to buy a couple of records? I have a couple of good ones and guarantee they haven't been played in a long time.
Sure. Say, do you still have the one Buffalo Barney New Yodeling?
Ah, that's my favorite.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, hi, son.
Mom, whose car is that in the driveway?
That's Uncle Frank's car. He just drove down for a couple of days.
I didn't know he was coming.
Neither did I. He called your dad at the office.
He's just here for a visit, huh?
Well, actually, he's doing some research
On what?
on our family history.
What for?
I don't know. You'll have to ask him that.
Where is he?
He is in the attic.
Uncle Frank, are you up here?
Yeah, right here.
Uncle Frank?
Yeah, come on up.
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh, great, Al. Great. Hey, it's good to see you, man. Oh, you're growing up. My goodness.
So my mom
Must have
says.
grown a foot.
So, what are you doing?
A little genealogical research.
Doesn't that have to do with rocks?
No. Although we do have a few fossils in the family, Al. No, geology is the study of rocks in the earth. Genealogy, on the other hand, is the study of the pedigree or lineage.
Pedigree?
That's a study of our ancestors, Al, as far back as we can go.
So, why are you doing this?
Well, that's a good question. You know, one reason is the more you know about where you came from, the better you understand yourself. But I think the main reason is that it's fun.
So, are you going to write a book?
No. Well, that's an idea. But for the time being, I'm just trying to find out as much as I can about our ancestors. What do you know about your great-grandparents on the maternal side?
Well,
You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
no, I don't.
Okay, let me show you something. Here we go. Here you are.
Okay.
Right, now, here are your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your mother here is my sister. This makes me your maternal uncle. It doesn't mean I'm maternal, it just means I'm your uncle on your mother's side. Now, if I were your father's brother, I would be your paternal uncle.
Oh, okay. Maternal, mother, paternal, father.
Right, very good.
Okay.
Now, my parents here are your what?
My grandparents. My maternal grandparents.
Right. Now, my parents' parents, there would be 4 of them, are my grandparents, and they would be your great-grandparents.
Oh, I see.
You add a great every generation you go back.
Well, how far back does it go?
How many times can you say great? The question is, how far can we trace it back?
Wow, so what have you found out so far?
Oh, all kinds of things. There was a college president. Don't say anything to your mother about this, but there was a horse thief back there a few generations
You're
ago.
kidding.
You know, that happens in the best of families. There was a couple that had 16 children.
Wow.
Oh, all sorts of things.
You know, Uncle Frank, I don't have a lot going on right now.
Okay. How would you like to find out about your father's family, the Kirk family?
Sure.
Okay. Now, you never can tell what you might find. You know, it's kind of like fishing, but you're fishing for parts of your own identity.
Okay, where do I start?
Well, like fishing, some places are better than others. Now, you begin by going to a public library or the local historical society. Ask them to help you out.
All right.
See, this is fascinating.
Al is about to trace his family history, and he's already come across 2 of the words key to his search. The word paternal comes from pater, the Latin word for father, and the suffix al, meaning relating to. So paternal means relating to a father. Other words having the pater root are paternity and paternalism. Even if you're not familiar with these words, you know both have something to do with fatherhood. The Latin word for mother is mater. By adding the al suffix, we get the word maternal, relating to a mother. Other words derived from the mater root are maternity, matriarch, matrimony, and matrilineal. This last one, matrilineal, describes ancestral descent based on the maternal line, the mother's family line. Lineal means line. Many cultures of the past were matrilineal, but today, as Al has discovered, most societies are patrilineal. You've seen maternal and paternal. Can you guess what this word means? Fraternal. The word refers to a brother. Frater is the Latin word for brother, and it gives us our words fraternize, meaning to be friendly or brotherly, and fraternity, an association of friends in which members often refer to each other as brothers. The best known fraternities are probably the Greek letter fraternities on college campuses throughout the nation. Let's see how Al's patrilineal research is coming along.
The first member of the Kirk family to arrive in Madison County was Joseph Kirk, a ship's captain from Galloway County, Scotland, who came here in the years immediately preceding the Civil War. To my best knowledge, he is the common ancestor of all Kirks in Madison County. We are all his descendants. That makes sense. If he's our common ancestor, the ancestor of all of us, then we're all descended from him. Through my researches and meetings with other members of the Kirk clan, I've discovered that we have all inherited from the captain a love of family. We are all strongly attached to traditional clan values of obligation. We must support and comfort one another in time of crisis. review my researches and meetings with other members of the Kirk clan. Clan must be the same as family. That's what he's been talking about. We are all strongly attached to traditional clan values of obligation. Obligation. We Kirks feel we must support and comfort one another. That must be what obligation is. You owe somebody. You gotta help them in time of crisis. Other prominent Kirks in Madison County were Major John Thomas Kirk, who served in the Mexican War, and currently William Randolph Kirk, MD, who was, hey, that's old Grandpa, Doc Kirk.
Family names or surnames first came into use about 5,000 years ago in China. The Romans used them to indicate an individual, clan, and family. When Rome fell, family names fell into disuse and only appeared in Europe some centuries later. At first, only nobles had surnames, but ordinary people soon adopted the custom. But where did surnames come from? Many came from places, jobs, or the name of an ancestor. For example, if a person lived near a hill, he might be called Mr. Hill if he came from England. But in Finland, it would be Mr. Mackey. In France, Mr. Dumont. Mr. Zola in Italy, Mr. Urich in Poland, and so on. How many names derived from places can you think of? Here are a few to help you get started. Lake, brook, stone, and ford. A person's job might also be the source of a family name. Cook, carpenter, baker, miller, cooper, fisher, farmer, and tailor. In case you're wondering what a cooper is, it's a person who makes barrels. The most common name in English is Smith, short for blacksmith. The name is common in other languages. It is Schmidt in German, Lefebvre in French, Ferraro in Italian, and Kuznetsov in Russian. Now, Smith or Kuznetsov is not the most common name in Russian, as it happens. The most popular Russian surname is Ivanov, or John's son. Johnson is our second most popular name. 2 U.S. presidents have been named Johnson. It is a name derived from the third major source of surnames, an ancestor's name. Thus, in addition to Johnson, we might have Erickson or O'Brien, literally of Brian. Not only surnames, but first names too have a history. But that's another story.
Hey, Al, you up there? Al!
Yes, come on up.
Come on. Where's he been? What are you doing here? What, are you going bats or something?
This place is probably full of them.
What?
Bats.
Hey, look at this. I've got something to show you.
What have you been doing? We haven't seen you around lately.
He's been researching his family history, his heritage.
Is that right?
Well, yeah. Mostly I've been researching the paternal side, my dad's family, the Kirks. My Uncle Frank's been researching the maternal side.
Your mother's family.
Yeah, he's sort of writing a book about it.
So what are you doing here?
Well, I think there may be something here.
What are those, love letters?
I don't know. I haven't looked through them all yet.
Well, let's look through them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel funny about this.
Why?
Because we're reading other people's mail.
Beth, look at the date on that one.
1847?
Yeah, that was from the Mexican War. I don't think anybody's gonna mind.
Okay. September 14th, outside of Mexico City. Who wrote this anyway?
That was my great-great-great-grandfather, 5 generations back.
You found out all that?
Do you all want me to read this?
Oh, please.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. For the last 2 weeks, our army has been resting in the Valley of Mexico, as the country immediately adjacent to the enemy capital is called. It is beautiful here. There are orchards and orange groves in great profusion. I couldn't begin to count them.
Flowery language, don't you think?
Al, this is beautiful. The days are torrid.
The brilliant sun blazes from a sky of the purest deep azure.
Torrid.
Hot.
How do you know that?
Torrid zone around the equator, remember? Anyhow, if the brilliant sun is blazing out from the sky, what else could it be but hot?
Can I go on?
Okay.
Thank you. The nights are chilly, for Mexico City lies at a great elevation. Whenever I find myself in a country as lovely as this, domestic desires come to me, and I dream of settling down, farming, and raising a family. The order has just been passed. All of us doughboys and the Marines must march now. I must close in haste. Your son, Arthur.
I wonder if he made it back from the war okay.
I guess so, or else I wouldn't be here.
You know what? Reading old letters like this, you can really find out a lot about people.
Yeah, except that the people are dead.
That's not what I mean, Carl. I mean you can find out a lot about yourself.
How?
We are all what our ancestors made us. There's a little bit of them in us, just like there's going to be a little bit of us in our descendants.
Beth, that was so deep.
No, I agree with Beth. The more that we can find out about our own genealogy, our own pedigree, the more we find out about ourselves.
You know what Beth means?
No.
It's from Hebrew. It means home.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah. I wish I knew what Carl meant.
I know what it means. I looked it up.
What?
It means manly, fellow man in Old German.
Yeah, that sounds right. I am manly, aren't I? Oh, I'm only kidding.
Come on, we've been through all that.
I've been thinking. If we want to get the kids behind a theme for Awareness Week, we have got to do something they're interested in.
We could do something on drug awareness.
Everybody does that.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but it's as dead as a dodo.
Wait!
Sure. We could do it on animals. You know, extinct animals.
Like the dodo?
No. You know.
Yeah. Maybe we could do it on animals that are about to disappear. What do you call them?
Extinct?
No, that's when they're gone for good.
Endangered.
Yeah, endangered animals.
Like what?
I don't know. Whales. And I know that there are a lot of others.
Don't they keep some endangered animals at the zoo? Maybe we can go there and get some ideas.
Okay.
You may have heard the expression, dead as a dodo. The word dodo is derived from the Portuguese word duodo, meaning silly or stupid. The Latin scientific name for dodo is Dedus ineptus, suggesting that the bird was somewhat inept or clumsy. The dodo lived on 2 isolated islands in the Indian Ocean. Early sailors would often stop there to reprovision their ships, taking on fresh meat, dodo meat. The flightless dodo was the size of a turkey and apparently too stupid to learn to fear humans. So the sailors just walked up to the bird, clubbed it, and had all the meat they needed, free for the taking. The dodo became extinct in 1681. Today, the name lives on as a synonym for stupidity. An animal that may well soon become extinct is the man-like or anthropoid ape, the orangutan. The word orangutan comes from the Malay language and means literally man of the forest. Will the orangutan go the way of the dodo? Right now, its chances of long-term survival are not good. Its habitat is being destroyed to make room for people.
I still don't understand the difference between animals that are endangered and animals that are extinct.
Well, come on. Where have you been? It's like going, gone. Endangered animals are in danger, going. Extinct animals are gone, for good. Hey, Carl, you keep your eyes open. You just might see an extinct animal today.
That was very funny. That was pretty good. What are they?
Gibbons.
Yeah, it says here that they're anthropoid apes.
What does that mean?
Like the other anthropoid apes, the gorilla, chimpanzee, and orangutan, gibbons are tailless. Some anthropologists, however, doubt that the gibbons are enough like humans to be classified as anthropoid.
Anthropoid must mean like humans.
How do you figure?
Because it says, gibbons are enough like humans to be classified as anthropoid. Anthropoid means like humans.
Tailless and human-like. Do we know anybody like that, Al?
Many species of wild animals today are either extinct or endangered, with more being added to both lists each day. The word endangered can be divided. The prefix "en" means in, so endanger means to put in danger. Likewise, when you encircle something, you put it in a circle. Encase means to put something in a box or case, and enslave means to put someone in slavery. An endangered animal is one that is in danger of becoming extinct. An animal that is extinct is gone for good. All the members of its species are dead. The word extinct comes from the same Latin word as the word extinguish, which means to put out or bring to an end. Now let's see how our friends at the zoo are doing on their search for endangered animals.
Why are we still walking around? We need an idea.
Hey, Bear! What are we gonna do for Awareness Week, huh?
Hey, I've got an idea. Get this.
We're listening. Come on.
Okay, we do a picture of those bears, and then we say, the bare facts on endangered animals.
Hey.
Survival is the bare minimum.
The bare truth about vanishing animals.
How about barely alive?
Stop, both of you.
Why?
You're both being unbearable.
I think he's right, though. We're getting off the track.
But just barely.
Now, how come?
Because endangered animals are not a laughing matter.
Yeah, she's right. Well, maybe we can use them anyway. I mean, they are kind of cute. What does it say about them?
Okay, wait a minute. Polar bear. Ursus maritimus. Endangered. The polar bear's habitat is restricted to the Arctic region, where, until recently, it was safe from hunters. Because of the absence of vegetation in its Arctic home, the polar bear is the only member of the ursine family that is completely carnivorous. Wait a minute. What's Ursus maritimus?
It's probably the scientific name for polar bear.
Now, how did you know that?
I just guessed. But all animals have Latin names that scientists use.
Well, why? I mean, why can't we just call them polar bears?
But what about carnivorous?
Let me see. Here we go. Let's see. It says, because of the absence of vegetation, now that means no plants.
Right.
In its Arctic home, the polar bear is completely carnivorous. Well, if there aren't any plants, then what does it eat? Just meat, right?
Yeah.
So carnivorous means meat eating.
Hey!
See, I told you I could figure it out if you would just bear with me.
Bye.
Oh, come on, that was good.
Al was right. Ursus maritimus is the Latin name for polar bear. The maritimus part has to do with the sea or ocean. You may have heard of the Maritime Union, people doing work in the sea industries, or the maritime provinces, lands near the sea. Ursus is Latin for bear. So, Ursus maritimus is a bear living near the sea or ocean. Or when we look at animals, we're often reminded of our friends or enemies. And we have a whole zoo full of words to describe a real or imagined similarity to an animal. The word bovine, which means cow-like, is a good example. The prefix bov means cow in Latin, and the -ine suffix means like. Canine means dog-like or doggish. Here are some more animal words. Feline, equine, porcine, and ursine. This last one should remind you of our friend Ursus maritimus, the polar bear.
Hey, wait a second. What was the difference between endangered and extinct again?
Going and gone.
I thought you said there were no extinct animals at the zoo.
Yeah.
Well, you were wrong. Take a look at this.
What is it? A statue of a pigeon?
Here, let me read it. Martha was the last passenger pigeon. She died here in captivity in 1914. The birdhouse is now a memorial, a reminder of our past mistakes, and a pledge to ensure the future of wild things by protecting their habitat. Wow, Martha.
I got the idea.
An idea?
Not an idea. The idea. Well, what is it? Not right now. Listen, meet me after school tomorrow, and I'll show you.
Okay, so what's this great idea?
Martha?
What?
Martha. Martha, the passenger pigeon. We'll base our whole awareness campaign on her.
But why the passenger pigeon?
Well, because they used to live all over the eastern United States and Canada. Did you know that when they used to migrate, they would fly in such numbers? I mean, we're talking millions, that they would darken the sky like a cloud. And that when they used to nest in the trees, there were so many that they would break the branches.
Well, then how did they die?
People. People would kill them for fun and food. See, the birds had this instinct, and they would stay together as one big flock. It was very easy to kill them. And listen to this. People would take sticks and hit the branches so their eggs would fall to the ground.
That's great fun.
Isn't it?
Okay, so how do we go about the campaign?
Okay, we'll choose our words very carefully. First, we'll show them a picture of Martha. Then each day, we'll put up a poster telling them a little bit more. Get them interested, keep the mystery.
Okay, so once we've got their interest in Martha, then what?
Okay. We'll show them a chart. Did you know that up to the year 1800, one species died every 50 years or so? Then, from 1800 to 1900, it was one species every year and a half. Now, it's one species a year. And if we don't stop destroying our environment, it's going to be 1,000 species a year.
Wow. You know, I never realized it was that bad.
It is. So, I made these.
All right.
What do you think?
I think we have a winner.
Carl, you've outdone yourself.
Thank you.
Wow.
Hey, it's really gonna be a short paper, huh?
No kidding.
Is this all we've got?
That's it.
How many ads have we sold?
Well, we had sold 4 pages. Murphy's Restaurant and Taco Terrific both took out half-page ads, and Taco Terrific backed out.
Oh, that hurts.
So I figure we're about 1.5 pages short.
Why don't we figure over lunch?
No, let's do it now.
Come on, what's the deadline? Tomorrow?
At 3 p.m.
Oh, come on, I'm hungry. Hey, Beth. What's the matter?
Just heard something strange and terrible.
What? Tell us.
Do you remember Sally Fisher?
Yeah, she was in one of your classes, wasn't she?
Yeah, in grade school. She goes to Poly now.
Not anymore. She's dead.
What? Was she in an accident?
No, she died of a disease called... Wait, I wrote it down. Anorexia nervosa. She just got real skinny, and she kind of starved herself to death.
Oh, that's awful.
Hey, it's okay.
It wasn't her fault. It was the disease.
Hey, just take it easy.
I'm all right. You need help with the paper, don't you?
Beth, it's all right.
It's okay. You're 1.5 pages short, and I want to do a story about Sally.
In 1066, Norman French invaders under William, Duke of Normandy, handed the English a decisive defeat. The victory of the French language took a little longer and was not nearly so complete. But today, slightly more than half the words in the English language have come to us via French. As a result of the Norman conquest, we have many sets of synonyms, words that mean the same or nearly the same thing. Thus, ancient and old, confess and acknowledge, assemble and meet, perceive and know, power and might, charity and love. The same applies to food, which gives us an interesting change or transmutation. When the animal was alive on the farm of an English peasant, it was an ox, calf, or swine. But when it was served up on the French-speaking lord's table, it became beef, veal, and pork, which might explain why most of our words dealing with cooking come from France, like sauce, boil, fry, roast, toast, pastry, feast, jelly, and soup. And now I trust your appetite for new words is momentarily satisfied.
Anorexia nervosa is characterized by compulsive self-starvation. The patient, most often a young woman, believes herself to be obese and continues to try to lose weight when actually she is emaciated, literally starving to death. What's obese? Well, if she thinks she's obese and wants to lose weight, then obese must mean fat. Emaciated. If she's starving, she'd be thin. So emaciated must mean thin, the opposite of obese. I'd better get some of this down. The lack of nourishment characteristic of anorexia nervosa generates problems beyond simple starvation, typically including chemical imbalances and deficiencies in vitamins and other vital nutrients. This is going to be some story, if I can do it justice.
Beth just ran into some new words dealing with food and nutrition. First, there's anorexia nervosa, a mysterious disease that's receiving a good deal of attention. The an prefix is from Greek and means without. The orexia root is also from Greek and means desire. So anorexia means without desire. A person suffering from anorexia nervosa is without the desire to eat, simply no appetite. The nervosa part suggests that there may be a psychological factor that contributes to this condition. Here are some other words that Beth has seen. Let's look at vitamin. It comes from two Latin words, vita meaning life, and amine, a chemical compound. So, a vitamin is a chemical compound necessary for life. If you're not familiar with the words nourishment and imbalance, try taking them apart to find their meaning.
Hey, Al. It's 4:30. Come on, I'm starving. Let's go get a shake or something.
Not till we figure out what'll fill these extra pages.
Fine, we'll do it later. I'm hungry. Come on, I gotta eat something. I can't work unless I eat. I'm starving. I gotta eat something.
Look, Murphy's came by and dropped off their ad a little while ago. Why don't you look at one of their menus?
Oh, great. Now I can feed my mind.
That'll be a light snack.
Hey, listen to this. It'll break your heart. 1/4 pound of choice U.S. government beef, ground and prepared to your order. Served au jus on a toasted sesame seed bun, drowned in its own sauce, with crisp, fresh lettuce and rich, ripe tomato slices. What do you think?
Sounds like a hamburger to me, sport.
This description makes it sound really delicious.
Yeah. Makes me want to eat the menu.
No, come on, I'm serious.
About what?
There might be a story here. Yeah. You know, I could go around to all the restaurants and hamburger joints near the school and get copies of their menus.
Oh, and then you'd have a great big pile of menus. So what? I don't see a story there.
Now, what I'll do is I'll compare what they say to what you actually get.
Oh, I see. They say that you're going to get a hamburger. And then, surprise, they give you a hamburger. Sorry, Carl, does not compute. There's no story there.
Don't you see what I'm trying to get at?
No, I don't.
It's not that they actually tell lies. It's the words they use. For example, a quarter of a pound. How much is that?
4 ounces.
See, that's what I mean, 4 ounces. When you see a quarter of a pound, that makes you think it's going to be big. But if you see 4 measly ounces, it seems like nothing.
Hey, let me see that. Choice U.S. government-inspected beef.
Yeah, and when you eat beef in restaurants, isn't it all government inspected?
Hey, there might be a story here after all. Ground and prepared to your order. Well, they make it sound like they grind up 4 ounces of Old Bossy just for you.
Yeah, and then what they probably do is they go to the freezer, take out a patty, and slap it on the grill.
Right.
Hey, what does au jus mean?
That's au jus, pronounced correctly. I know what that means from French class. It just means with juice.
Juice?
Yeah. You know, the grease and water that comes out of the beef when you cook it. Sort of like gravy.
But wait a minute. Down here it says drowned in its own sauce. They're repeating themselves.
I like that drowned bit. I mean, it's not just served with, or soaked in, or drenched in, but it's drowned in its own sauce.
Sounds like you should give the burger CPR.
Yeah, if you could get it to the surface. R.
No, really, what do you think?
Well, there is a story here, but not just for laughs. There's a serious side, too.
What?
Well, the way that people use words, use language to make something sound different than it really is. Yeah, you've got a winner here, Carl. But please, remember...
Yeah, I know. We have a deadline tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm about to starve. I'm gonna go get something to eat. Do you want something?
Foods and recipes can get their names in unlikely ways. Take chicken Marengo. The dish takes its name from the Battle of Marengo in Italy, in which Napoleon defeated the Austrians on the 14th of June, 1800. Napoleon had had nothing to eat the day of his first major battle, and he found himself a long way from his supply wagons. Watching the Austrians retreat probably made Napoleon hungry, and he ordered his chef to make him some dinner. All the cook could round up on the battlefield was 3 eggs, 4 tomatoes, a little garlic, 6 crayfish, a small hen, some mushrooms, some oil, and a saucepan. The chef whipped it all up in almost magical fashion, and Napoleon was so pleased with the results that he ordered that in the future he be served the newly invented chicken Marengo after every battle. Except, of course, after Waterloo, when he ate crow. Not all dishes have such romantic origins, but who can forget this man? Ah, well, perhaps he may have slipped your mind. This is a picture of John Montague, an English nobleman who was so fond of gambling that he couldn't bear to leave the gaming table even to eat. So he had a piece of meat between 2 slices of bread brought to him, and the resulting triumph of convenience was named after him. Oh, didn't I tell you? John Montague was the Earl of Sandwich.
This is gonna be great. Imagine, the Earl of Sandwich comes back from the past to visit the Burger Blitz. Oh, what crimes have been committed in my name.
Here's Beth's story on Sally Fisher, the girl who died of anorexia.
Yeah? I need some old-fashioned words to get that proper period feel. Do you know what a thesaurus is?
It's over there.
You know, time was when I thought thesaurus was some kind of an extinct lizard instead of a book of synonyms.
Yeah, right.
You know, I need to find words that describe what I think. No, not what I think, what the Earl of Sandwich would think when they serve him at Burger Blitz. Ah, here we go. Look at all these words that mean bad taste. Unpleasant, nauseating, unappetizing, unpalatable, nasty, repulsive, loathsome. That about says it all for Burger Blitz.
I think we're gonna have to spike your story for this issue.
What do you mean? Come on, the kids are gonna love it. They're gonna fall out of their chairs laughing. Besides, you can't cut it. I haven't finished it yet.
Here, read this. You'll see what I mean.
I guess you're right. What are we gonna put in the space?
I don't know. We'll think of something. And we've got plenty of time.
Words come in and out of style just like clothes, as you'll see. And like clothes, it's important to choose the correct words for the occasion. Words that are appropriate in one situation may be inappropriate in another.
Pass the potatoes.
For example, what happens when a young soldier on leave from the Army momentarily forgets where he is and says,
Pass the potatoes. Please, Mother?
The young soldier has just learned that language that is commonly used in an Army mess hall just won't do at the family table. Words are like fashion. They're always changing, and words that are okay in one situation may not be the right choice in another.
Wow! Anybody in here?
Over here.
Where are you?
Here!
There you are. Hey, how's it going?
Well, it's not going to be the best fashion show in history.
But it will be a history of fashion, and it will give Mr. Morales something that will bring history to life right before our eyes.
It was a good idea.
Thanks.
I think we're all going to get A's.
Of course.
I hope so.
Hey, what are we going to say during the show?
Say.
What do you mean?
Oh, I don't know. They always have sort of a description of the clothes, don't they?
You're right. I bet Mr. Morales is going to want something like that, too.
Well, that's no problem. We'll just say, now here's a nice dress with a padded bump on the behind.
A padded bump on the behind?
Well, yeah. I mean, what would you call it?
I don't know, not a bump.
How would you describe this?
Weird.
Come on, you guys, a padded bump weird? We gotta do better than that.
Well, where do we start?
Well, what about old magazines? They have a lot of them at the library.
But not back to the Middle Ages.
Yeah, but they have books that are, you know, histories of clothes and costumes.
Okay, good idea.
Okay, why don't we write down the names of the clothes off the tag?
Right, let's do it.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, this is gonna be great.
The fashion industry has a vocabulary all its own, and many of these words have unusual origins. Clothes and the materials they're made from are often named for the people and places they come from. For example, take the tuxedo, which is often worn by men at weddings or at fairly formal parties. The tuxedo is named for Tuxedo Park, a suburb of New York City. The tuxedo, or tux, became popular there as a less formal alternative to the full dress suit with tails. This Madras cloth is made of cotton and gets its name from the city of Madras in India, where the cloth was first made. Clothes made of Madras seem to come in and out of fashion every few years. This is a roll of gauze used in bandages. Gauze can also be used for clothing or curtains. It takes its name from Gaza, an ancient city that in modern times has given its name to the Gaza Strip. Here, I guess you could call this a Gaza Strip too, right? One of the most popular clothing items with both the sexes world over is denim jeans. The cloth was first made in Nîmes, France, so that in French the cloth was described as de Nîmes, of Nîmes. In English, we have gradually slurred de Nîmes to become denim.
What's first?
The caveman.
Don't you mean cave person?
Okay, have it your way. You're going to be wearing the fur.
Me? Me?
Well, what is there to say about it?
Just that it's wombat fur or whatever.
No, we've got to say more than that. What about if we describe it like high fashion?
Okay, we could say that the fur was probably wolf, and it covers him from shoulder to the knees.
No, we need some fashion words. Listen to this. The man wears a short plain tunic dropping from the right shoulder and belted at the hip. The tunic falls to a straight hem at the knees.
Huh. You know, that looks a lot like the caveman outfit. Maybe we could say something like that.
Yeah.
What's a tunic?
A tunic is a slip-on garment with or without sleeves that's belted and hangs to the knees.
Girls, they know all about clothes.
I looked it up.
Okay. We begin by saying, our cave boy wears...
Cave boy. Boy.
All right, caveman.
Thank you.
Our caveman wears a short, well, it's not a tunic, is it?
It's a skin. Two skins.
But it's shaped like a tunic.
It's cut like a tunic.
Wearing skins cut like a tunic.
Right.
Now we're getting it.
Let's see. The skins are gathered at the waist by a string. No. They didn't have string back then.
A strip of hide.
Good.
Oh, look, and it falls to a ragged hem below the knees.
Okay. Our caveman is wearing two wolf skins cut like a tunic. They are gathered at the waist by a strip of hide and falls to a ragged hem below the knees.
I love it. And Mr. Morales, he'll love it too.
Yep, I think he will.
Now, what's next on our historical fashion show?
Well, why don't we do...
Hey, how about a woman from the Middle Ages?
Okay.
Well, you have the fashion book.
It's right here. Except there's some words here I don't understand.
Well, how are they used?
Well, it says the hennin has a veil of ivory gauze.
Oh. Well, that must be her pointy hat.
How come?
Hey, well, you can see the gauze hanging down like a veil.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Boy, these old clothes, they sure had some strange names.
Yeah, but we're getting them.
We've seen that there are many special words in the field of fashion. Some of the words are derived from place names, but others are named for people, usually the people who invented them. For example, this is a cardigan sweater, one that buttons down the front, with what are called raglan sleeves. James Thomas Brudenell, the 7th Earl of Cardigan, is known for leading the charge of the Light Brigade. He also wore and popularized a warm jacket of knitted wool, a cardigan sweater. Sleeves like these that extend to the neck are called raglan sleeves, for a 19th century British nobleman, Lord Raglan. In England, a raincoat is often called a mac, short for Macintosh, after Charles Mackintosh, who was a pioneer inventor of rainwear. This unlikely pair gave their name to hairstyles. The lady is Madame du Pompadour, a favorite of King Louis XIV of France. She gave her name to this extreme hairstyle. And today we speak of any roughly similar style as a pompadour, even if it's worn by men. The general is Ambrose Burnside of the U.S. Army. He led Union troops in several battles, but he's best known for giving his name to the whiskers, which are not Burnsides, but sideburns. And here's one more piece of military fashion that became popular. It's the Ike jacket, worn during World War II by then General and later President Dwight Eisenhower, whose nickname was Ike.
Look at this. It's the cat's pajamas.
What? Pajamas for a cat? Let me see that. That is not a cat. And he's wearing a tuxedo.
Listen to this. The swell is ready for a night on the town with his favorite flapper. She thinks that his new tuxedo with its unusual Madras cummerbund is the cat's pajamas.
What's a swell? Oh, it's the guy. See, it says, the swell is ready for a night on the town with his favorite flapper.
Then the flapper is the girl.
Yeah, I guess so.
Flapper sounds like the name for a fish.
That's flounder.
What's a cummerbund?
Well, Madras is a light plaid cotton from India.
It's his belt thing, see? It's plaid.
Oh.
Yeah, but what does cat's pajamas mean?
I don't know. It's just something that people said back then. Oh, come on, let's try to finish this. Do we have anything on the 60s? You know, peace, love, age of Aquarius. I mean, what did they wear back then?
What do we need?
Jeans, an army jacket, and beads. It was almost a uniform.
Yeah.
You know what a uniform is. For instance, what military people wear. But have you ever thought about what it really means? The prefix uni means one. A unicorn has one horn. A unicycle has one wheel. So, a uniform means one form. Well, that's what it literally means. But the meaning has been broadened to refer to a group of things that seem alike in size, shape, or manner.
We open with a popular prehistoric all-purpose garment, suitable for a mammoth roast or any other occasion. Our caveman is wearing matched wolf skins cut like a tunic. They are gathered at the waist by a strip of hide, and they fall to a ragged hem above the knees. Thank you, caveman.
My lady is wearing a hoopaland, powdered with silver stars. Her hennin is covered with scarlet satin and trails a veil of peach-colored gauze.
Here's a swell ready for a night on the town with a friendly flapper. Note the Madras cummerbund. It's the cat's pajamas.
Hey, catch these threads. A worn, patched, and faded blue jean skirt. Army surplus clothing. A holy t-shirt. Sandals and love beads. Far out.
sorry that we have to stop right now.
But we don't know what the world of fashion will bring us next.
Thanks for coming along on the trip.